But now let's take a look at that shared world, and we can talk about Forza life and everything like that. So, what can you do in this shared world, and what are we seeing?
Yeah, so right now we can see the guys are connected to a shared world. As I said, these are some of our team upstairs helping us out demo this today. When the game launches on October 2nd, you'll be able to join with up to 72 people on a server. We don't quite have that many here now. We don't have that many people that can stop fixing bugs and finishing up the game to come and give us that time. So we've got a few guys here with us now who are going to help us to demo the game. As I was saying earlier, drivatars were great in races, and you can still absolutely race against drivatars in races. But when you're in the open world, there's an emergent fun and a character that real people can bring that you just can't create with an AI. On last week's show, if any people tuned in for that, we spent a long time just chasing sheep around a field and trying to herd them up onto the white horse. We'd never be able to make an AI system that could authentically recreate that experience. But in Forza Horizon 4, as you're driving around, those emergent experiences just happen. Even now when we're playing in development.
I think we've just got to point something straight away as well. So there's that auto ghost feature, isn't there?
Yeah. So Ben, do you want to touch that?
Yeah, cool. So auto ghost is this really awesome way of just making our online world feel kind of super welcoming to everybody. Because one of the things that is not nice when you go online is people crashing into you, is kind of people griefing you if you're trying to be still or take a photo or something like that. So what Auto Ghost does is it says if somebody is not your friend, is not in your convoy, and you kind of haven't allowed it, they can't grief you at all. You would just pass straight through them.
So it's just kind of one of those things that kind of makes it more accessible. Because I think that's been one of the biggest questions that I've seen being asked, is that shared world and then offline. So it's just kind of creating that barrier between the two.
Yeah, it's just trying to kind of bring the friction and bring the barriers right down. Really cool thing about Auto Ghost, we've just done a speed zone there, but one kind of massive piece of community feedback that we got was traffic in drift zones and speed zones. Regularly people giving us grief about how bad they are. And I will hold my hands up, it does get annoying if you're nailing the perfect drift and you smack headlong into a traffic car. So we've used the same system to ghost out the cars when you're doing the speed zones and the drift zones.
So you can kind of perfect those zones to kind of get the perfect experience and nail the drifts and get those kind of really high scores that you want to. So also, offline mode and shared world, it's seamless transition between them. Can you tell us a little bit more about it?
Yeah, I think the best thing to do would be to demo it, because it's something that we're really proud of. If Andy wants to, he can just pause the game at any point and go offline.
You can't get Andy to pause the game though, that's the hard bit.
He'll be fine. And instantly everyone will get taken out of your world and eventually replaced with drivatars who start to spawn in. And this is...
So that's it, that's just kind of you're now on offline mode.
Yeah, there's no waiting around for it, it's just brilliant. Yeah, there and done.
No loading screens, no cinematics or anything. You can see a drivatar's just there up the road. If Andy quickly goes back and again reselects Horizon Life, it will find him a session. This takes around 10 seconds or so. So if Andy just drives around now, once that's connected, we should see all Andy's friends who we were just playing with pop back into the world. Just give that a second.
Yeah. But while we're waiting for that as well, does Abshis just ask, can you turn off Auto Ghost thing in a private lobby?
You can convoy up with people you know and have collisions turned on.
So you can still get those crashes if you kind of want.
Absolutely, yeah.
So that's cool. Also, we've got another question from DXSizzle99. Remember, guys, if you've got any questions for Horizon 4, drop them in the comments below. What side of the road is the main side? Okay, because it's one of those big questions.
The main side.
The main side. Which side of the road do you drive on?
I mean, I drive through fields. So,
That doesn't answer the question. Everyone goes through as the crow flies. You kind of crash through fence and stuff, but with the civilian traffic, right? Which side of the road are they driving on Horizon 4?
So we drive on the left, which is the same as Horizon 3, but you drive wherever you want, really.
So we actually blinked and missed it there because it was so seamless. But whilst Andy was driving on that road, he reconnected into that session. All his friends popped back in. There was no loading screen, no pause. Entirely seamless.
And now we're into photo mode.
Yeah, so...
Online photo mode.
So how does that work?
So it just works like it does offline. You go into photo mode, everything that you can see stops. You see all these cars here, which you might ordinarily have drivatars in free roam or in a race, if you think back to Horizon 3.
Yeah.
Now this is all the people you're playing with. Obviously, in their game, they're probably donating around or they might have driven off, but you had the perfect opportunity and you wanted to take a picture. So you go to photo mode, and there you go.
And if someone else is in photo mode, is there a way that you can tell, or is it just kind of, so are they just going to like ghost out so you can see if someone's in photo mode?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
everything gets communicated.
There we go.
So Matthew upstairs has helped us out. His car now ghosts out, so we know he's not going to interfere with us. And a little bubble pops up above his gamer tag to tell us that he's in photo mode.
We've also keep getting these little chat messages, because I think one of the biggest barriers with online gaming is not everyone wants to go on and have to put a microphone on, and you've kind of worked on implementing a system. What is that in Horizon 4?
So this is another one of those cool things that we're trying to make online as seamless and as easy as possible. It's not always easy to plug a mic in and start chatting, and not everybody wants to do that anyway. And you've also got the kind of language barrier as well. So Quick Chat is just this huge collection of really fast phrases that we've got. You can assign 4 of them, and you can assign kind of different ones for free roam and race. And you just get to fire communication back and forth between people. So like, let's go exploring, or maybe help kind of lead someone to a barn find. But you can also have things like protect me if you're playing King and someone's chasing you. It's really, really cool.
I think I love that language barrier bit as well. It's just like kind of how I can break that down. But that's Forza, a little look at Forza Live. We've also got a few questions in the chat asking us if we can look at the map again. We will take a look at the map again later on. But should we talk about Forzathon? Because I think
just before we do, sorry. We saw both those guys taking a photo there. One of the new features that we've got in Forza Horizon 4 is that, as well as sharing those photos, which we've always had, and we've always had these big communities around Reddit and our forums and stuff like that, where people would share them, and there's competitions and things. We've now made a change where in game you can now get rewarded for that, and there's actually like a whole campaign around it. If I could borrow the controller a second, Andy. Thanks. So in here, which is the screen that we call My Horizon Life, this tracks sort of your progress across the whole game. So, and one of those is a photographer campaign. So it's basically a series of challenges and rewards, which reward you for being a great photographer. So you take photos, you upload them, other people download them and like them, and then you basically get rewards in game and new challenges and stuff to do in game. And this screen, My Horizon Life, like each one of these little tiles represents a sort of mini campaign that you can take part in. So if you want to play the game and all you want to do is playground games modes, which is like our fun, like King and Infected type modes, there's actually a campaign for that, and you can just play the game that way, and you'll still be able to level up and get all
progress.
And progress, exactly. Yeah, so I just wanted to share that before we jumped on to Forza. I'll hand back over to Andy now for that next.
That's awesome, but let's get into Forzathon. So that's actually a really nice addition into going in. But Forzathon, what is it?
So Forzathon is it's a guaranteed piece of gameplay. There's 3 flavors of it now. Every hour, every day, every week. It's one of the main reasons that I kept going back into Horizon 3, kind of week after week. And we've taken it and we've massively expanded it. We're going to show Forzathon Live here, which is a brand new piece of Forzathon. And as I said, it's every hour. So Forzathon Live is the hourly system, and this is another one of those ways that we're making online really easy and really fun. So what happens here is every hour the server says, for anybody who wants to take part in this, get over here, you get the little message, you can set a route there, and a kind of radius appears on the map. And anyone who turns up gets grouped together, and they immediately then compete to do a kind of cooperative challenge with 3 stages. We'll look at that in a little bit more detail when it starts, but if I go into the kind of rest of Forzathon, so we've got daily challenges, which are like the ones you remember from Horizon 3, so kind of bite-sized, simple things like earn 3 stars on a speed trap, or earn 100,000 points in a drift zone. Like really simple ways that we just kind of reward you for coming back to the game that day and give you a reward for it. And then the weekly ones where you can think of it like a car story. So we get you to get into a particular really cool car. Maybe it's a car that's been in films, or it's something that's kind of brand new and everybody's loving it. And then we give you a bunch of challenges, and we'll extend the gameplay out there kind of half an hour plus. This is the hourly stuff that we're heading towards at the minute.
It looks amazing though. I just love how you've just kind of got this whole crew of players just kind of rushing towards the Forzathon zone.
It is a real spectacle, and something that was just on screen there a second ago is not only do you have the radius on the map and the message saying go over and get there, but we've managed to squeeze the blimp that just sits above it while it starts, so you know exactly where to go, and the blimp will follow you around the world as you do the challenges.
So it's like the viewing platform, isn't it? You've always got that kind of visual indication of where you need to be as well. So it's every single hour. What kind of because we're gonna see him in a few seconds as well. What kind of challenges and races can you expect to have within a Forzathon?
So Forzathon will give you a lot of the really cool open world stuff. So you'll be doing things like speed cameras, drift zones. We'll put radius, a radius on the map where you'll be banking skills, doing particular kind of certain types of skills. Like you'll see loads of people drifting around roundabouts.
Yeah. Also, like what's like with these Forzathon live events, what are players going to be able to earn by doing them?
So I'll let Mike get into that one.
Yeah, so all of the Forzathon things you just mentioned, so the daily, weekly, and Forzathon Live, all contribute, all pay out in Forzathon points, which is a new currency that you can only get from Forzathon. And that is spent in the Forzathon shop, which is every week as the season changes. There's Forzathon shop and it's restocked with fresh content. A lot of that stuff is the stuff that you might otherwise only be able to get in wheel spin, so you only have a random chance of getting. But if you can wait for it to come in the Forzathon shop, then you can choose specifically, oh, great, it's that legendary car I've been waiting for, perfect opportunity for me to jump on and get that. And it's there's always that thing as well, because there's a daily challenges, weekly challenges, these things that happen every hour, you are constrained a little bit on how many points you can get. So you're never quite sure whether I should drop them all this week on that car because the one I really want might be next week. So there's always that nice like risk and reward element to
I
it
can
as
see
well.
myself just like on for like 18 hours straight, just like hitting every Forzathon live for like, because there is the total points that you can earn by kind of hitting all those Forzathon. And just imagine just sitting there just like for hours and hours and hours, just kind of making sure I'm hitting every single one. And there's different stages to Forzathons, aren't there? It's not so. How are they going to work once? Because we're about to get into it in a minute. But just before we get into that, how many stages and what's the progress like within a Forzathon Live?
So the stages within a Forzathon Live, there's 3, and they kind of increase in difficulty. Basically, everybody in the group gets 15 minutes, and you get given your first objective. And then if you manage to complete that, you'll qualify for stage 2, and so on and so forth, all the way to stage 3. It works brilliantly when there's loads and loads of people, because you can smash through it, get all the way to the end of stage 3, and everybody gets the same reward regardless of kind of how good you are.
Yeah.
But if there's only a couple of people, maybe you just happen to be playing with your friend and you were the only people who jumped in, you still get the full 15 minutes to get through as far as you can.
It's also just a few comments as well, because remember guys, get involved in the comments, ask your questions about Horizon 4, anything to do with Forzathon as well, which we can answer right now. But there's like, there's a few things like, that blimp is a nice touch, gotta say.
It is a nice touch.
Yeah,
I would say
thanks
it's
for
an
getting
awesome
that there. I agree.
And then that little announcer as well, just kind of coming in, and boom. All right, so we're off. So can you kind of talk us through the first event?
So this is stage 1. You've just seen it on the screen there. It says get to the speed zone. And as I said, these are cooperative challenges. So everybody is now racing towards a speed zone that's been marked on the map. You can see at the bottom of the screen there, it says 0 miles an hour. This is really cool.
So Andy has demonstrated online rewind there. So much like, as we said earlier, online photo mode, it just works. Rewind it's been a staple feature of the Forza franchise for a while, and Andy, by nearly stacking it into that wall, has ably demonstrated that it's
Totally
still there in the game. Yeah, so of course everyone else keeps going forward. You basically reverse your mistake, and then you're able to apply a bit more brake and catch yourself.
That's really cool. It's kind of like showing that auto ghost feature again as well. It's kind of that thing where you just kind of see the cars that you would normally collide with just like seamlessly just kind of disappear. So progress bar. So we're in the speed zone now.
Yeah.
So how can you kind of gauge your progress?
So when you're in the speed zone here, you can see that that's your current attempt that you're doing. You'll get to the end of the speed zone and you'll bank that, and you'll bank that into the group target. So you'll see that the UI appears and it will fill up showing the group progress. It shows what you just added to it. When that then fills up, you've essentially completed the stage that you're on. So it's got this kind of really nice, fun feeling that everybody's chipping away at this like overall target. And when somebody does something really awesome, you'll suddenly see it like there, like shoot up a kind of huge amount.
I think I really like how it's a co-op feature, as well as like you mentioned earlier, with it being that there isn't a leaderboard within the group. It is a group effort to complete this.
Yes. So that's something we were really conscious of, because often when you're playing like an online game for the first time, you're not very good. The last thing you want to do is have somebody basically saying, "I'm carrying you, get out." It's not very nice. So there's no leaderboard, there's no kind of mention of individual scores. It's just completely purely co-op.
So you're just kind of nailing it to kind of all get the best reward possible together. There's a few other questions just while we're moving on to the second challenge as well. Alex Games asks, have you put an area of off-road in the game? Please respond, because I love off-road. That is coming up later in the stream, which we will see once we've finished Forzathon, which is cool. And also, Josh Miller asks, are there ambient sounds in the background?
Absolutely, yeah. So our audio guys have done incredible work having full audio soundscapes for every season. So each region of the map in every season's got a unique soundscape. So the countryside sounds different in winter to it does in autumn, to it does in spring. You'll have completely different things. So then if you move to Edinburgh, then they'll have a completely different soundscape again, which again changes based on the seasons. I think Edinburgh even has like the cannons going off, doesn't it? The ceremonial cannons.
Yeah, I mean, it goes beyond that. So I have been informed we've got regional birdsong.
Regional birdsong?
Regional birdsong. So for anyone who is a bit of a twitcher, keep an ear out for birds of your region appearing in your region in game.
You're just going to see Ben like sat in a tree, just kind of like leaning, going like, oh, do I hear that? The right bird? Is that a blue tit, or is that? I don't even know what the regional bird songs are, to be honest. Also, Texas asks motorways. We are going to be having a look at those later in this very stream, so don't go anywhere. But get your questions in, because we're coming up to the second challenge now, which is a speed trap.
Yep.
So what's kind of the progress now? So stage 2, it gets more difficult every single one. How long would you expect like a full team to kind of be able to get through?
So I would expect a full team should definitely be able to complete all 3 stages within 15 minutes. It's one of those things that as we're constantly playing the game, we're still kind of fine-tuning. And in fact, we'll take some feedback from the guys upstairs playing with us here. But it does get harder in stage 2, and it'll get even harder in stage 3. But let's see how they do. Stage
3 I'm excited about, because it's going to put Andy under pressure, and you guys are going to see it, because it's the most challenging. It is the most challenging one.
Yeah.
And it's drifting, isn't it? So it's skill?
Yeah. So stage 3 will be a skill area in a really, really awesome like abandoned rail yard. So it's perfect for doing kind of gymkhana stuff. You know, loads of things to drift around, loads of stuff to smash, loads of like jumps to take. And in fact, they have. They've nearly nailed this one. In fact,
they just blitzed that. I looked away for a second, and then suddenly it just went straight away. Right, here we go, round 3. Right, so guys, involved in the chat, do you think Andy is going to be successful and not break his skill chain in the skill area, okay? Yes or no? I'm intrigued. What do you guys think?
I'm gonna say...
Do you have faith in Andy? This is the question. you can see him getting nervous.
I want to say I've got faith in Andy.
But does that mean you have faith? That doesn't seem like a very, like confident answer. I want to say it.
I have got complete faith in Andy.
I think Andy might want to change car to give himself a better chance.
This is a very good point.
So yeah. I think one of the new features that we've added, or tweaked I should say, is that any point now in the game, players are able to just pause the game and change their car, and have it delivered to them right there in the world. This was a feature that we actually had in Horizon 3. It was a little hidden away, and we also charged the player in-game currency to do it. Now you can just pause a game, select your car, and it'll be delivered to you free, like super fast, like you saw, which is great for things like Forzathon Live, where the type of challenge is changing all the time.
Yeah.
So obviously we had speed challenges at the start there, and now we've got skills one where I can tell Andy's conscious that he's going to end up flipping his other car, so he's gone for something that's a bit more planted.
He's this thing. He's risen to the challenge.
Yeah.
Right. I'm just going to see what the chat are thinking. Are they feeling confident in Andy, or are they kind of like feeling a bit as if he's going to crash? I think he'll miss the jump. Right. That is the big part of this.
Well, we might miss the jump. He's taking it safe, so he's going for the smash everything kind of in a skill chain.
The group is actually doing this really quickly as well. What other kind of like tips and tricks would you kind of like offer players, like give players to kind of do as well in these Forzathon Live challenges?
So I would say, in terms of skill chains, key point is to not let it bank, which Andy just got away with there, because the higher you get your multiplier, the bigger it will be, and you want to bank that massive skill chain at the end. So as you see, there are actually some players who've got some really big chains that they've been banking, but you don't want to be banking lots of little skill chains kind of frequently. You want to try and hold on to a huge one and get your combo all the way.
Prof. Toby.
All the way.
Prof. Toby, this PhD, has said, in Andy we trust. Right.
That guy's got a PhD, so he knows what he's talking about. Yeah.
He is pulling this together. How much? So what's the total? Is it $1 million for the group progress, or is it just kind of that? Oh, someone's banked a big one.
Yeah, so that was someone holding on to a huge chain. I think it'll be about $1.5 million for this one. And he's doing pretty well with that chain as well. He's not banked it. If there's a few more players holding on to big chains like that,
this could be over pretty quickly, which is a pretty good time as well. Like as a group, they've managed to do it in around 8 minutes, right, for the whole 15-minute challenge.
Yeah, that is not bad going.
Yeah. These guys are pretty good at the game. They've definitely played it before.
Have they? They probably haven't made it or anything. Right, there we go. So that is the Forzathon live event, which is like they happen every hour, all week round, every season.
Every season, every hour on the hour, and it's completely synced worldwide as well. So like when you see it on your server, every player in the entire world will see that Forzathon Live fires at the same time as well, and it'll be the same Forzathon Live for everyone.
Also, Timmy the Kid has just came in and asked, what area of Britain is it set in or inspired by?
Which particular part?
I'm guessing the region that we're in, based on the question. So the region that we're in, do you know where?
Yeah, this is kind of inspired by like rural South Edinburgh, kind of countryside.